My next guest is a comedian, author, actor, filmmaker, star of screen, both large and small, and that's only the half of it. He's clever, witty, charming, as well as being loaded. Makes you sick. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Fry. There we are. And here we are. Here we are again. Thank you. So, you're here to talk about Kingdom, about the ITV series. What brought you back to TV drama after 10 years away?
Well, it's always a question of good luck, really. I was approached by some people who had an idea of doing a drama series about a solicitor in the country, and I liked the idea, and I particularly liked the idea of a country town. So I think a lot of people in Britain live in little market towns rather than in cities. There's plenty of television about people living in cities and plenty of television about people living in the countryside. Your bollocks of the Glen and all that sort of thing. And charming they are, don't get me wrong. They're very enjoyable and I love them. And you can bury yourself in them. But I live very near a market town, and I was telling the writer and producer this. I was saying, you know, Swaffham, I said, in Norfolk, where I live, it's a lovely little market town, and yet it's not the same as the country, and it's certainly not the same as the city. In some ways, it's more of each. A policeman there told me it's easier to buy drugs in Swaffham Market than it would be in Soho Square.
Which go there, good luck.
And also...
Start the car.
Because, you know, I'm way out of it in Highgate.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
No good there at all. No, heavens above. No.
It's lovely to be reminded again how beautiful England is.
I think so. And, you know, there's such a thing as Sunday night television, which I think is different from any other night of the week. You know that awful feeling you used to have when you were a child?
Homework.
Yeah, there was songs of praise, and there's kind of a hot lead would leak into your stomach as you thought about the next day. And you want a souffle to dive into. I mean, every other day of the week they can pull livers out of rape victims and talk about serial killers and do all the unpleasant things that television offers in such charming abundance. But just for one night to have something that is kind of like an old cup of tea from a brown china teapot, you know, rather than a latte with hazelnut and vanilla essence in it. You know, just something just so.
I love that idyllic view of English life, you know, I really do. It's such a beautiful country. And I love that John Major got criticised for it. I love that view he had of England, you know, the pub and the
warm beer and the vicar on the bicycle.
That's right, and the cricket field and all
Well, I like the fact that it may well be that, because the infrastructure, as they would say now, is there. The beautiful churches, the remarkable organisations, whether it's the Women's Institute or the Mothers' Union or whatever it might be, that sort of bind the community together. Plus, you get a better lens, as it were, into how Britain works in the country than you do in the city again.
Sure.
I mean, the local law offices in small market towns in East Anglia, for example, you will regularly see written in gold letters on the window, Estonian and Latvian spoken. You know, you wouldn't see that in Hampstead or Highgate. It is a place where the workers who come over from Central Europe are in abundance, and all the problems that they have. We also have in Swaffham, of course, the great Asbo Lottery Chav, about whom a programme was made, in fact. So you see it all. You see your hoodie pikey chavies, you see your happy slapping, but it's leavened by a little bit of fluffy Englishness and a damp tweed, you know? Damp tweed. Yeah. It's just what it should be.
Let's have a look at some damp... This, actually, is quite a racy bit. This is coming out on Sunday, tomorrow. Right. And this is a scene where you visit to make a reconciliation between man and wife, and the man has a curious choice of wardrobe, let us say.
Yes.
Hello, Philip Collins. You need to come all this way. I could have easily gone to your office.
Yes, but we've been through all this, and you're not leaving the house until you put on some proper clothes.
I'm sorry, this is a Christian Dior.
I can't stand any more of this.
Mr. Collins, Peter Kingdom. This is my sometime mute associate, Lyle.
Hello, how are you?
How do you do? Please sit down.
Now, if you're agreeable, we're really here to mediate, to come up with some sort of working arrangement for your separation.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're wasting your time, Mr. Kingdom. I don't want to separate.
You don't?
No. I adore Brenda. Couldn't live without her.
Robert Bathurst, fine actor. Very actor.
Yes, Robert Bathurst is very, very fine actor indeed. So that's on tomorrow night on ITV1. And then, of course, you've got starring in America in Bones. Right? Gosh almighty.
That was a sort of accident, really. I had to be in America for a meeting with Peter Jackson, the director, who lives in Wellington, New Zealand. And Los Angeles is more or less halfway between Wellington and London. And he was asking me to write a screenplay for a film. So we had this meeting. The Dam Busters, a new film on the Dam Busters, the Great Raid of the 617 Squadron and all that. And the Murner's Gone, and the unfortunate code word, and the music, and all the wonderful things about that story, which I was greatly looking forward to. But my agent in America said, oh, would you do an episode of this series Bones, which I have to confess I hadn't heard of, but they sent around a DVD, and I watched it, and it seemed very charming, and they sent around a script. And then I said to my friend Hugh Laurie, who is American television, I said, what do you know of this Bones? He said, oh, they're awfully nice. They just live round the corner on the Fox lot. He said, so, you know, I thought it'd be rather sweet to do an episode and say hello to my colleague, you know. So I did this episode, and we would have lunch together, which greatly annoyed him in some ways, because he, for very good reasons, playing an American in his series House, keeps his American accent all day. It'd be rather stupid to dive in and out of it, and so, of course, he finds it very embarrassing if an English person comes and goes, hi, great to see you, Steve, how you doing, you know. Hugh, snap out of it, man. On the other hand, if he lopes forward and goes, hello, what-o, hello, hello, the Americans are going, what is Hugh Laurie doing? so he's kind of trapped between two accents. But anyway, we had a great day. And then they asked me to do 2 more episodes, and then they asked me to do the rest of the series, which sadly I couldn't do. But I did have a great time. It's a very odd thing, American television, because it's you know, they make 24 episodes, and you've got about 7 or 8 days to do each hour episode, at least an hour minus the commercials. And they have very little time, but they have a stupendous amount of money. So simply anything that goes wrong, they just throw another camera, another crew, and at 3 in the morning on the Fox lot, for example, it's busier than at 3 in the afternoon. There are golf carts going backwards and forwards. There's Kiefer Sutherland over there blowing up terrorists. There's Hugh Laurie sort of pulling something out of somebody's bottom, and there's